If the call had ended like it was supposed to, I'd still believe I had the perfect life, the perfect wife, the perfect marriage. But it didn't. And that's how I found out everything was a lie. We were that couple everyone envied. The ones that made marriage look easy. Sunday mornings with fresh coffee and music playing in the kitchen. Spontaneous weekend road trips. Inside jokes that made strangers think we were still in our honeymoon phase, 7 years in. I truly believed I was one of the lucky ones. I trusted Lily with every part of me. She was my best friend, my home, my always, until one phone call ripped it all apart. It was a normal afternoon. She called to say she was leaving brunch with her girlfriends. "Hey babe, just checking in. Do you want anything from the store?" I smiled, told her no, just get home safe. She laughed, said, "I love you," and hung up, or so I thought. A few seconds passed. Then, I heard her voice again. The call was still going. At first, I thought it was a butt dial. She must have forgotten to lock her screen, tossed her phone in her purse. I was just about to end the call, when I heard her laugh. Soft, intimate, the way she used to laugh just for me. Then a man's voice. Not loud, not clear, but unmistakably not a woman. And then she said it. "He thinks I'm still with Sarah and Jen. Poor guy has no idea." My heart stopped. I didn't breathe. I didn't blink. I just listened. "Last night was insane," she whispered. "I still feel sore, but I'd do it all over again with you." That moment broke something in me I didn't know could break. She kept talking, joking, making promises, flirting, and the whole time I sat there listening to the woman I thought was mine, speaking like I didn't exist, like our life, our love, our home meant nothing. And when she finally said, "I've got him wrapped so tight, he'd never suspect a thing," the call ended. Just like that. 15 minutes later, she walked in the door, shopping bags in hand, smiling. She kissed me like she always did, asked if I'd missed her, and I just smiled back, because I wasn't going to confront her. Not yet. I was going to collect every lie, every message, every name, and when the time was right, she'd lose me the same way I lost her, without even realizing it. She walked through the door like nothing had happened, shopping bags in one hand, sunglasses in the other, humming some stupid pop song under her breath. She kissed me, told me she missed me, asked if I wanted to go see a movie later, and I smiled, because I knew everything. And the scariest part? She had no idea. That was the moment something in me changed. Not broken, not angry, cold, calculated, focused. She thought she was smart. She thought she had me wrapped around her finger, like I was just some clueless husband paying bills and mowing lawns while she snuck around with whoever that man was. But I wasn't going to yell, or cry, or beg. No, I was going to watch. That night I couldn't sleep. Not because I was sad, because my brain wouldn't stop replaying the call. Word for word, breath for breath. That little moan she let out when he said something that clearly got to her. I lay in the dark beside her, listening to her breathe, feeling the rise and fall of the woman who had just laughed about how clueless I was. She was right. I'd been clueless. But not anymore. I watched her fingers scroll her phone screen under the covers, the soft glow lighting up her face. She said it was Pinterest. I knew it wasn't. The next morning I started building my plan. I bought a second phone, a burner, set up a new email account, created a private Google Drive folder with a simple name, Lily Truth. Then I synced her iCloud account to my laptop. She'd given me her login years ago, in case of emergency. I guess this qualified. What I found, it made me sick. There were dozens of messages, different names, same patterns. Some were innocent on the surface, but others, not even trying to hide it. Photos, hotel reservations, calendar invites. But one name kept appearing, over and over. T. Short texts, always vague, but always loaded. "You taste better when you're nervous." "He say anything last night?" "Don't worry, I've got you covered." And one message that made my blood run cold. "He's sweet. Don't feel bad." He's too soft for the world she's trying to build. She's trying to build a world without me in it. I started checking credit card transactions. Hotel charges on nights she said she was working late. Late-night rideshare receipts to neighborhoods she never mentioned. She had been planning this, building a separate life, one small lie at a time. And the worst part? I remembered those nights. I remembered waiting up with her favorite meal, sending, "I miss you," texts she never responded to. I remembered being proud of her, thinking she was chasing a promotion or networking. God, I felt like a fool. But not anymore. Now, I was documenting. I even started recording our conversations. Not because I planned to use them in court. Not yet, anyway. But because I wanted to hear the sound of her voice lying to me in real time. "Today was exhausting," she'd say. Or, "We had such a productive strategy session." And I'd smile, nod, play the part. Meanwhile, I had screenshots of her in lingerie that wasn't for me. I had voice memos she'd sent to him. I had a file growing by the hour. But I still didn't know who he was. Just that he went by T. Until one night she made a mistake. She left her Apple Watch on the nightstand. It lit up at 1:14 a.m. "T. You wore that thing I like. Naughty girl." But this time it wasn't just a text. It showed a last name. I stared at it, heart hammering. Recognized it instantly. Because I'd seen it in our home. On thank you cards. In our wedding guest book. At our dining table on holidays. He wasn't a stranger. He was someone I knew. Someone close. And in that moment, everything in me shifted again. This wasn't just betrayal. It was personal. Thomas Keene. When I saw the name flash across her Apple Watch at 1:14 a.m., I couldn't breathe. Not because I didn't know him, but because I did. Thomas wasn't a random guy. He wasn't a stranger from a bar. He was my friend. My oldest friend. The kind of friend who gave a toast at our wedding. The kind of friend who helped us move into this house. The kind of friend who hugged me when my dad died. And now, he was sending flirty midnight texts to my wife. She called me sweet. She called him naughty. I wanted to scream, to wake her up and demand the truth. To throw that watch against the wall and watch it shatter like my King trust. But I didn't, because now I knew who I was dealing with. And I wanted to know everything. The next morning, I watched her like a stranger. Every movement, every blink, every lie slipping from her lips. She said she was going to meet Jen for coffee. But I had her calendar already mirrored on my secret phone. No Jen. Just a location, TK Loft. TK. Thomas Keene. She was so careless. Or maybe just that confident I'd never look. She kissed me on the cheek. "Love you," and walked out the door. And I stood there in the kitchen, smiling like a corpse. I followed her. Not like a stalker. Like a man who wanted to see it with his own eyes. She pulled into the parking garage below Thomas's luxury condo downtown. I parked 2 levels down and waited. She stepped out of the elevator. Wearing the black coat she always said she only wore for me. He was already waiting for her at the door. Grinning. Like he hadn't known me since college. They kissed. Not quickly. Not guiltily. Hungry. Like they were starving. Like I never existed. And when she finally went inside, I sat there alone. In my car. Staring at the empty space where everything I believed used to live. I didn't cry. I didn't get out. I just whispered, "You son of a bitch." And that's when it hit me. This wasn't her first time. Not with him. Not with anyone. I replayed the texts. The receipts. The way she moved through this double life so effortlessly. I hadn't married a liar. I'd married a strategist. Someone who built deception like a business. And Thomas? He was just her latest investment. But now, I had a face. I had a name. And I had motive. Because if she wanted to play this game in silence, then silence is what she was going to get. Until it destroyed her. For 2 days after I followed her to Thomas's condo, I said nothing. I kissed her good morning. I made her coffee. I asked about her girls' night. And she lied. Flawlessly. Like a woman who'd done it 1,000 times. And maybe she had. That night I stayed up while she slept. She always put her phone on silent when she went to bed. But she forgot to take off her Apple Watch. Again. I waited until her breathing went soft, slow, even, and then I slipped it off her wrist like a thief in my own home.
I scrolled fast, fingerskakning.
Messages, deleted threads, hidden names. One stood out, a username, not a name. ElliotX19. Not saved. Not familiar. I tapped. The first photo she sent him was her, but not the version I knew. She wore lingerie I'd never seen before. She was posing, commanding, performing. The texts that followed weren't romantic. They were transactional, explicit, cold, direct. $400 for 15 minutes. No face. I'll book the suite. You bring the toy. Don't touch without gloves. Don't call me by name. My blood ran cold. This wasn't just cheating. This wasn't just Thomas. This was work. Or maybe something even worse. I backed out of the message and opened her photo vault. The one she thought was secure. Hundreds of photos. Dozens of men. Some she'd cropped her face out of. Others. She was looking right into the camera. She wasn't a wife who cheated. She was a woman with an entirely separate life. And I never saw it. I sat on the edge of our bed, just staring at her sleeping body. This wasn't a single affair. Or a tragic emotional lapse. This was who she was. I didn't marry a liar. I married a performer, a manipulator, professional. And for 7 years, I'd been her character's husband. But now I had it all. The photos, the messages, the evidence. And every time she looked at me with those fake loving eyes, I smiled, because she had no idea her perfect mask was already cracking. And I was the one holding the hammer. I woke up the next morning before her, made breakfast, poured her coffee exactly how she liked it. 2 sugars, splash of oat milk, just like always. She came down in her robe, kissed my cheek, and said, "God, you're too good to me." I nearly choked on my own laugh. Too good? She had no idea I'd spent the entire night watching her send half-naked pictures to a man who knew her only by an alias. She stirred her coffee, looked out the window. I looked at her like a man looks at the stranger who's been living in his home. I played the role. I kept smiling, kept nodding at her fake stories, kept collecting data. But inside, I was sharpening knives. That afternoon, I created a folder. Not a digital one this time. A real folder. Physical. Printed screenshots. Message logs. Hotel invoices. A burner photo of her in the elevator with Thomas. Time-stamped. Face clearly visible. Then I labeled it, Truth, Property of Ethan. And I tucked it into my briefcase. Why? Because people like Lily don't break under shouting matches. They don't confess when caught. They twist. They blame. They weaponize tears. No, I needed something stronger. I needed control. That evening, while she was in the shower, I opened her laptop. It was still logged into her encrypted folder. She had no idea I knew the password, our wedding date, reversed. Cute, right? Inside, tax records, private messages, and a booking calendar under a different name. Marley S. I stared at the screen. Appointments, sessions, rates. She wasn't just sleeping with people. She was running a side business, operating like a pro. She'd built an entirely separate life on top of mine. Using my home, my time, my faith. And all that time I thought she was building our future together. She was just cashing in. When she came out of the bathroom, towel around her, she leaned in and kissed me. "You're quiet tonight," she said. I looked her in the eyes, smiled. "Just tired." She curled up beside me, head on my chest, like nothing was broken. And I let her, because I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to leave in the middle of the night. I was going to finish this. The next morning I started small. I canceled our joint credit cards, opened new accounts under my name only, transferred my savings into a new bank, locked down all assets tied to my side of the business. She didn't even notice. She was too busy getting ready for her strategy meeting, which I now knew meant slipping into lace and heels for a man who probably didn't even know her real name. Before she left, she kissed me again. And I asked, casually, "Who's Marley?" She froze, only for a second. Then the smile returned. I shrugged. Just something I saw pop up on your laptop. Probably nothing. She brushed it off, kissed my cheek again, and walked out the door. But her fingers were twitching. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. She knew. She didn't know how much I knew. But she felt it. The air was changing. The temperature in the room had dropped. Because for the first time in our entire marriage, I wasn't looking at her through love. I was looking through strategy. And she was on borrowed time. The next few days were quiet. Too quiet. Lily kept pretending everything was normal. But I saw the shift. The twitch in her smile. The way she double-checked her phone every 5 seconds. She started logging out of her apps. Started deleting messages in real time. Started asking me strange questions. Do you still love me? Is everything okay between us? She knew something was wrong. But she didn't know I was the one pulling the pin from the grenade. I stayed patient. I wanted her to wonder. I wanted her to stare at the door every time I left. Wondering if I knew. Wondering when it would all come crashing down. Then I made my next move. I scheduled a private meeting with my lawyer. Filed a motion to protect my personal assets. Drafted a separation agreement. But I didn't file it. Not yet. Instead, I made a copy. Printed it. And I mailed it to her work. No note.
No explanation.
Just her name on the envelope. And a thick stack of papers that spelled out exactly what was coming. She got the envelope 2 days later. I knew the minute she did. She called me 3 times in a row. Texted. What is this? Why did I get legal documents? Ethan, what the hell is going on? I didn't respond. I wanted silence to answer for me. She came home early that night. Stormed through the door. Ethan, she called. I was sitting at the dining table. Calm. Waiting. She dropped the envelope in front of me. What is this? I looked at it like I'd never seen it before. Legal prep, I said. Just getting things in order. In order for what? I met her eyes. Held them. For the truth. Eventually, it catches up. Her mouth opened. She almost said it. Almost confessed. But she couldn't. She still thought she had time. Thought she could outmaneuver me. So she smiled. That brittle, trembling smile I'd come to recognize. I don't know what you think is going on, Ethan. But if you have something to say, just say it. I stood up slowly, walked past her, and whispered, ladies first. She didn't sleep that night. I heard her pacing upstairs. She stayed locked in her office until 3 a.m. I knew she was deleting files, cleaning up, wiping evidence. Too late. I already had it all. By the end of the week, her world started to shake. One of her clients reached out to the wrong email, and it pinged our shared inbox. Her burner account on a dating app was leaked on a cheating forum. Someone posted a blurred photo of her and Thomas online. I didn't do it, but someone did. Her perfect mask was cracking. And I hadn't even gone public yet. She started asking questions. To me, to friends, to Thomas. And I watched her spiral, quietly, calmly, because she still didn't know how the walls were closing in. Just that they were. By now, the cracks in Lily's perfect little world weren't cracks anymore. They were fractures. She barely ate. Jumped every time her phone buzzed. Stayed glued to her laptop, trying to clean the mess she thought was still a secret. But I didn't stop her. I wanted her scrambling, because desperate people make mistakes. And Lily? She was about to make her biggest one yet. It started with a conversation. A carefully staged, crocodile tear-soaked monologue in the kitchen. I've been thinking a lot lately. She wouldn't meet my eyes. I don't know what's been going on between us, but something feels off. I kept my face blank. She stepped closer, put a hand on my chest like she used to. I just want to fix it, Ethan. I want us to get back to where we were. There was no us. Just me, the fool who built the life, and her, the woman who sold pieces of it for cash and attention. Still, I let her speak. And then she said it. The line she thought would flip the script. I feel like you've been distant lately. Is there someone else? I almost laughed. She was trying to paint me as the one who strayed. Deflection. Classic. I looked her dead in the eyes and said, if there is, she's a hell of a lot more honest than you. That wiped the smirk off her face. Later that night she tried again. But this time she was armed. With accusations. Do you even care about this marriage anymore? Why did I get a notice about the credit cards being closed? Why is someone leaking private photos of me online? I stayed calm. Let her spiral. Because I was recording the whole thing. Audio. Video. Time-stamped. She started yelling. Started crying. Then she said it. If you're trying to ruin me, I swear to God, I will tell everyone you were abusive. I'll make sure no one believes a word you say. And there it was. The real Lily. Not the tearful wife. Not the seductive liar. The cold-blooded manipulator. She wasn't scared because I was leaving. She was scared because she was losing control. I walked to my desk, pulled out the envelope, dropped it in front of her. She opened it. Inside, printed messages from her to Thomas. Screenshots of the booking calendar. Photos, bank transfers, a signed affidavit from a lawyer confirming her alias, and a written confession from another man she'd worked with, who turned whistleblower to avoid legal exposure. Her face went white. Where did you get this? She whispered. I leaned in. You should have hung up that day.